Brent Venables, Last Stand. Welcome into the Voice of College Football. Appreciate you stopping by. Best discussion, debate, and analysis right here, and you can add to it. Please join us Monday through Friday for The College Football Show. Again, it's The College Football Show, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Give me a call, join the chat. Please like the video and subscribe. Let's get to it. OU, 6-7 last year, 2-6, obviously well below the standard. And Brent Venables has not met anything close to the standard in 2 of its 3 seasons at OU. And now this was the first introduction to the SEC, and the OU team was not prepared for physicality for football, period, because even against non-conference teams in the early going, they got banged up. I've never seen this before. Lost their top 5 wide receivers for the season. Lost multiple offensive linemen. They were not depth. They did not have the depth up front anyway. And then Jackson Arnold, partially because of poor play, but partially because he didn't have wide receivers and offensive line play. Well, he got sacked 50 times. He didn't play well. He got benched against Tennessee. Rarely have I seen a team that was just completely dead, even though they were only down most of the first half by 6 or 9 points. The game was over. Forget it. They couldn't move the ball against Tennessee's defense. This was a putrid offense. Lincoln Riley, that era is long, long ago. 97th in scoring. Yes, Brent Venables should be on the hot seat. He can't suffer 3 bad seasons out of 4 at OU. Okay, let's start with getting a quarterback in play. Jackson Arnold is off to Auburn to try to revise his career. John Mateer, 44 total touchdowns at Washington State. That looks impressive. It is. 29 touchdowns passing against 7 picks and 15 rushing touchdowns. Let's look at the 2 games against Power 5 opponents, and not necessarily the best of the Power 5. In Washington and Texas Tech last year, Mateer under 50%, 26 of 53, 360 through the year, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Brent Venables was able to lure Mateer's offensive coordinator, Ben Arbuckle, from Washington State, so that's obviously a plus for Oklahoma, and Mateer learning the offense because he knows the offense. It's going to be everybody else learning Arbuckle's offense. So again, that's a huge plus for a transfer quarterback. They got a quarterback. Now get a playmaker. How about Jaden Ott of Cal? Forget his 2024 season. He was riddled with injury in 2023. Just a dart and cut and go kind of guy. 1,300 plus yards and 15 touchdowns on that season. He's a really good back, and he will ignite the Oklahoma offense. He's got a couple good backups, actually, and highly touted back in the day. One, Javante Barnes, who's trying to salvage his career after he was the man at one point. And don't forget about Taylor Tatum. He is, well, a 5-star. Okay, the wide receiver position, aforementioned disaster. And those guys left. So they got hurt last year. They didn't play for OU, and they mostly left, except for the best of the bunch. Deion Burks of Purdue, transferred at one point, turned in a nice season for OU in 2023, and then 31 catches before he got hurt. He's a really good receiver. He's fine. He's the number 1 guy, no doubt. The rest of the guys I kind of question at wide receiver. They threw volumes of players and money to try to bring in just waves of wide receivers to see if somebody would stick. They brought in 7 transfer wide receivers, 3 from the FCS level. The best of the bunch, probably Isaiah Sategna from Arkansas, but he is nothing special. Tight end is Caden Helms. Offensive line, this was a disaster as well. 3 different starters at every position up front last season except right guard, where we've got Fabuchi Nwainu coming back at right guard. This position is still coached by Bill Bedenbaugh. Now, he can't go out there and play for these guys. He can't block himself, but he's one of the best in the business. And they do have 111 starts in college football in this 2025 unit. So they got to learn to work together because they got all transfer portal players up front, except for the right guard, and they better learn fast because Michigan's coming to town in week 2. Let's speak of the defense here. Brent Venables knows what he's doing, and he has taken over as defensive coordinator. Can he be head coach DC? I believe so. I believe it's slightly different than being an OC, calling plays, and being the head coach at the same time, as we've seen with the likes of Lincoln Riley and Ryan Day and others. Venables, I think, can pull this off, although he loses his two playmakers on defense, Danny Stutzman and also Billy Bowen. You've got Kip Lewis. Man, if he didn't make two plays against Alabama and Auburn, the Auburn game he saved with a touchdown on a pick six when Auburn was putting the game away. The Alabama game was still in doubt when he put it away. Probably still a win, but Kip Lewis was that kind of guy last season in a disastrous season that could have been worse for OU. 65 tackles for Lewis. Really good players across the back seven of defense, especially the linebacking core is the best unit on the field, either side of the ball, and the secondary is good as well. You got Robert Spears Jennings at safety, 66 tackles. Sammy Omosigo at 39 tackles, 5 tackles for loss. And Peyton Bowen, still waiting for him to be a complete star. Had a huge freshman season, kind of tapered off last year. And they need Peyton Bowen to become the star that he was supposed to be as a 5-star, and he showed early flashes in 2023. Cornerback Eli Bowen is a really good player, also off the edge, one of the best players in the SEC. R. Mason Thomas with 12 tackles for loss and 9.5 sacks. Well, they lost their punter and place kicker. What did Oklahoma do? What everybody does these days. They went to the transfer portal. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Tate Sandell from UTSA is taking over as the place kicker, hit on 19 of 23 last year. And the new punter is from Kennesaw State, one Jacob Ulrich, 45-plus yards per punt. Okay, the schedule is brutal. It was brutal last year. I posted a video today railing on the SEC, and it had nothing to do with scheduling, although I dropped the mic early on SEC scheduling. I've had an issue with SEC scheduling since they broke into divisions in 1992, and even though they brought everybody together under one conference head, they still screw up the scheduling. It was easy to see before last season that Oklahoma had a ridiculously difficult schedule, and Texas had the inverse. Now, that's not to excuse Oklahoma's 6 losses in the regular season, but still, my goodness, they are also, again, looking at the toughest schedule in college football. Potentially. Michigan comes to town. Probably not the 8-5 bunch that they were last year. Improved on offense. Bryce Underwood probably starting at quarterback, and this will be a challenge more so for the Oklahoma offense, the retooled offense. They've got 1 week to prepare for Michigan, and then they get slapped in the face by probably a top 5 unit in the country. Then there are no soft spots in the SEC schedule. No, even Arkansas's, Vandy's, Mississippi State's, none of that. Instead, wow, let's run it down here. Auburn comes to town. That's the SEC opener. Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Just read the teams in a row, and it's daunting. Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. All those teams put together last season went 69-27. But just call it a feeling here. This flies in the face of this. John Mateer's an inexperienced quarterback in regards to power conference play. Certainly the SEC, and those 2 performances I threw at you where Mateer went up against Power 5 defenses didn't perform that well. Retooled offensive line. Wide receiver core is kind of iffy, but the defense, I think, is going to be outstanding. We are going to get together with about 2 weeks left in August camp, and we're going to run through every game in college football this season, and we're going to make our final predictions as we map out the entire season starting with week 1. That's going to be a fun project. But for right now, call it a hunch. Oklahoma loses to Michigan, but they go 6-2 in the SEC. So it's 9-3 for the Sooners on the cusp of a college football playoff appearance. And with this schedule, they probably would get the nod. Your comments and questions down below right here at the Voice of College Football. Keep in mind that we've got an OU channel. We've got shows on Monday and Thursday night as well, right here at the Voice of College Football.